This is the AM News. Details now, starting with the staff of the National Identification Authority has called off their strike, which began on Monday, to resume negotiations with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. In a press release on Wednesday, the NIA staff stated that their decision was influenced by interventions from various stakeholders, including the Minister for National Security, the FWSC, the National Labour Commission, and the public outcry from Ghanaians. And the statement reads, the Divisional Executives Council of Public Services Workers Union of TUC Ghana, NIA Division, have resolved to suspend its indefinite strike declared on 10th of June 2024, pending the outcome of engagements with the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission on Friday, June 14th, 2024. The reason for this suspension is based on several interventions from stakeholders, including the Honourable Minister for National Security, the invitation from the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to the negotiation table, the advice of the Mother Union based on the ruling of the National Labour Commission, and the public outcry of discerning Ghanaians. Now, it must be noted that the FWSC have assured us of their willingness to act in good faith in our subsequent engagement. However, this gesture will be put to test on Friday, June 14th, 2024. Members are therefore assured that if at the close of negotiations on Friday, the government fails to demonstrate true faith by granting us institution-specific allowances, we would not be hesitant to return to our industrial action. This must be noted. The statement further goes on to say, we hereby appeal to all members to report to work tomorrow, that is today, Thursday, June 13, 2024, and professionally discharge our duties. So that's that for the statement from the NIA division. So we're expecting them to return to their various posts today. In other stories, rainwater, which fills the drains of Aveno, are asking for immediate dredging to ensure the people in Aveno are asking for immediate dredging to ensure the waters flow freely to avoid flooding. With the onset of the rains, some of the residents who stay in the area and workers who operate there say they get scared anytime the clouds gather. They've been speaking to Hannah Odame in this report.
Grace Gavo, a trader who has stayed in this vicinity for 18 years, knows the dangers associated with her residency in such flood-prone area. But she cannot relocate, as she says she cannot afford the rents in other parts of the city. She and her children are, however, always afraid of the occurrence of one natural element, floods.
Oh, it's not there. 18 years to 19 years. Oh, so I
have lived in this area for the past 18 years. I have lost count of my property that has been swept away whenever it rains because the floods render us homeless.
Oh, because only baby I caught. And as I said, only Skywalker behind that.
My children and I are forced to stay with relatives at La Paz until the rain subsides. My wish is to relocate, but I can't pay the rent in other parts of the city which do not get flooded. I don't like it at all when it rains at night. At least when it rains during the day, we find a way to escape. We plead with government to constantly dredge the lagoon so that it does not overflow when it rains.
Her plight is reiterated by Nana Kwame, a mechanic who recalls how all the workers run to safety when the rain starts. He's not happy that instead of enjoying the rain, they see it as a bane.
25 years. But I
have lived and worked here for the past 25 years. The big drain was not here by then, so it was very dangerous. The construction of the drain has been helpful, but the inconsistency in dredging it of all sand has been our problem. When the rain falls continuously, the water overflows its banks, and the force is strong enough to wash vehicles away. When it happens like that, we have to run for our lives. All we need is for the sand to be dredged And with the onset of the rains, I plead with authorities to quickly act, or we will not hear good news.
Constantly losing her property to the floodwaters is an experience Doris does not want to keep up with. She also pleads for the dredging of the drains as soon as possible.
The drain has been overly filled with sand, which is washed inside by rainwaters. It impedes the smooth flow of the water in the drain. That is why when it rains, it overflows. I'm pleading that the drain is constantly dredged. All the wares I sell get washed away when the floods come. So I've devised a strategy. I store all my important belongings on top of a wardrobe. Then I go to a safe area until the rains are over. It was so sad last year. I could not stand seeing one of my favorite bowls being washed away. So I decided to chase it in the flowing water, but ended up getting hurt by a metal that was flowing in it.
The last time I flew last year, in fact,
From Aveno here in Accra, I am Hannah Odame for Joy News.
The Wa High Court, presided over by Justice Yusuf Asibe, has adjourned to July 12th the trial of Eliasa Mahama and two others for the alleged killing of the owner of Jirapa Dubai, Eric Johnson. The case was adjourned a couple of weeks ago to enable the court to verify the authenticity and direction of a letter purported to have been issued by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono transferring the case following a petition from the first accused mother. Close family members and people of Jirapa were incensed and angered about the decision and called on the Chief Justice to rescind her decision. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam, who sat through proceedings, reports that the case has generated more petitions and the Chief Justice would like to do further consultations.
They came into the High Court in droves, traveling the 62 kilometers journey from Jiraba. It is a case of public interest and has no particulars. The Jiraba Member of Parliament, Kletu Sedu Dapla, and immediate past Jiraba Municipal Chief Executive, Christine Bombanya Amadou, are here to show their moral and unflinching support. They are united in grief and praying to get justice for the colossally slain owner of Jirapa Dubai, Eric Johnson. The case of Eliasa Mahama and two others versus the Republic was adjourned a couple of weeks ago to enable the court verify a letter purported to have been issued by the Chief Justice, Justice Gertrude Tokono, transferring the case out of the court to an unknown high court in Kumasi following a petition by the mother of the first accused. When the case was called today, the supervising High Court judge, Justice Yusuf Asibe, told the court that several persons have petitioned the Chief Justice over the matter and will adjourn the case for a month to enable the Chief Justice has further and broad consultation on the issue. That got the principal state attorney, Said Abdul Shakur, and the lawyer for the first accused, Clement Iledi Standen. The banter between the duo was quick and hot. Lawyer Said was the first to draw first blood, averring that the one-man adjournment was long, considering the impending legal vacation pegged at the end of next month. Lawyer Clement Iledi pointed out to him that the wheels of justice grind slowly but surely gets to its destination. Lawyer Said agreed, but stated that when a spanner is deliberately kept on the wheels, there will never be movement and by extension, no justice. Despite the adjournment, the people of Jiraba are still incensed and angry about the decision to even in the first place transfer the case to Kumasi. Leading the charge is the MP of the area, Kletu Sedu Dapla.
And let me use this, your medium, to let the entire world to know that the people of Jirapa, for that matter, the Kumbire family of the late Eric Johnson, the youth and everybody are not happy with the manner in which the case is being handled. Truth be told, I'm not prejudicing the case, But it is, let me commend the police service, the Ghana Police Service, for doing a very thorough investigation about this matter. In my layman, observation, they've done a good job. They've come out with the culprits. They did fingerprints. They did everything. Monies were found. Monies of Eric were stolen, and they were found with the accused person. So many things. Eric has family. He has children. He has family. He has friends and everybody who think that justice must prevail. So that is all that the people of Jirapa are asking for. We are not happy. We can't be happy because we think that where they've done the investigations up to, the case should have been proceeded and then, judgment should have even been passed by now, because we think that the lawyers for the accused person are just delaying. They are doing all these tactics to delay the case, because this is where the crime was committed. The crime was committed in the Upper West region. The crime was committed in Jirapa. So once the crime was committed here, I think it is fair. It is fair for the case to be tried here. That is all that we are asking for. So it's not wrong for the other two accused persons' lawyers to say that the case should stay in the High Court of War.
It is the belief of all and sundry here that they will never get justice if the case is transferred to Kumasi.
There are 3 accused persons. Today it came out in court that the other 2 accused persons, even their lawyers have petitioned the Chief Justice against the transfer. So where is the grounds for the transfer? In addition to that, I know the family of Eric and the people of Jirapa, all the youth have come together to also petition the Chief Justice. So where is the grounds for the transfer? What's the grounds for her delay? I mean, we think that some powers are being used arbitrarily and capriciously, and we are actually completely disgusted. We don't think that is the right way to go.
Once 2 or 3 against 1 is saying that they want the case to continue here. We are hoping that the next court date, which is 12th of July, trials will begin.
Reporting for Dway News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Now, the Programs Director of Challenging Heights, a non-profit organization, Enoch Derry, has called on the government of Ghana to strengthen its child protection mechanisms to help fight child labor. He said if jobs, employment and income-generating capacities of families are put in place, children are less likely to fall victims to child labor. Mr. Enoch Derry made these remarks at a gathering to commemorate this year's World Day Against Child Labor in Tamale.
World Day Against Child Labor is set aside each year to highlight the issues of child labor. It also presents an opportunity to remind all stakeholders to improve the implementation of the 2 fundamental conventions, Convention 182 and Convention 138, concerning the minimum age for admission to employment or work. The theme for this year's celebration is Let's Act on Our Commitment, End Child Labor. Speaking at the event, Mr. Enoch Derry said all stakeholders need to rekindle their commitment in the fight against child labor.
We cannot achieve this without the necessary support and collaboration of stakeholders. Certain macro-level factors would have to be improved to facilitate the elimination of child labor. Key among these factors is for government of Ghana to strengthen its social protection mechanisms and to intensify efforts to alleviate poverty, to improve the socioeconomic lives of households. By boosting employment and enhancing income-generating capacities of families, children are less likely to be forced into child labor due to lack of basic needs. There is evidence that 60% of out-of-school children in Ghana are engaged in child labor. This means that any program or policy to improve children's schooling is likely to contribute towards the elimination of child labor. That is why at Challenging Heights, we say keeping children in school is our business.
The head of Anti-Child Trafficking Unit at the Northern Regional Headquarters of the Ghana Police Service, DSP William Ayaruga, said it is essential for government to strengthen existing laws and policies to ensure child labor is comprehensively addressed. The acting Northern Regional Labour Officer, Mustafa Al-Hassan, said they are making progress in terms of sensitization to end the menace.
Identify child labor issues. We are supposed to refer to the Department of Social Welfare, and they are supposed to remove the children from the activity of child labor. So if there are no resources available to social welfare, it hinders the promotion and the sensitization or the withdrawal of children in child labor. So we will call on government to resource the necessary agencies.
The paramount chief of the Chogu traditional area, Na Muhammadu Al-Hassan, reiterated the need for traditional authorities to be committed in the fight against child labor in the region.
The New Patriotic Party in the Central Region is asking the opposition National Democratic Congress to abandon what they describe as a cloak of violence in every election-related matter in the country. According to the NPP, the shooting incident at Ewutu Senya East and other pockets of violence that are beginning to rear their heads in the region is engineered by the NDC and should be condemned. Central Regional Secretary of the party, Richard Techi-Mensah, has been addressing a news conference.
It beats the imagination of the group of Ewutu Senya East that NDC hoodlums could go to the voter transfer center in Kaswa with clubs and knives and stab Mr. Atukumsin, a son of Honorable Hawa Kumsin, and one Ken Adewu. Friends of the media, it was all peaceful throughout the period of the EC's 23-day limited voter registration exercise in Kaswa. Both the NPP and the NDC were at the registration center, and it was very cordial between the supporters of these two parties at the center, to the extent that so many supporters could go to Honorable Hawa Kumsin to request for some of her food packs that she had prepared for the NPP registration agent and other people at the center. As loving and kind as Honorable Hawa is, she never hesitated in giving it to them. She was at the registration center throughout the period, and at no point that an incident occurred that one could result in stabbing someone. The same cordial relationship existed at the center when the transfer of votes exercise began. It will interest you to know that Honorable Hawa Kumsin was not even in the country, let alone to be at the center on that fateful day of June 2nd, 2024, when her son was attacked and stabbed by the Richard Asiedu and the Ewutu Senya East Ambassador of Violence Commission tax. That startling act occurred in the presence of the police. To the ground of God, Mr. Atukumsin and King Adewu are really responding to treatment. We are aware that those bloodthirsty NDC hoodlums who committed this heinous crime are before court facing the law.
Now, Registrar of the Scholarship Secretary, Dr. Kingsley Ajiman, has urged the students of his alma mater, Pope Jones Senior High School, to uphold the ethos of moral uprightness and discipline because it is the catalyst for excellence. Speaking at the 63rd Speech and Prize Giving Day, Dr. Ajiman said the school has all that it takes to propel them to excel in their endeavors.
For your peers to, nominate you as the special guest of honor for a school that you attended, I think is very humbling. And this year's Speech and Prize Giving Day was organized by my NIA group. So it's my peers. So it was very humbling and very, 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 very touchy, if you should ask. If you want to go very high, you have to come down very deep. So the foundation is as good as the structure. For me, donning the colors of the yellow and the blue means that it is through these walls or within these corridors that characters are formed. It is not easy, or it is a very privileged position to, have a mission school, because there's a Catholic school, the ethos of Catholicism, that is one of the aspects of the themes for this 63rd speech and prize giving day. And we were guided religiously. It is well documented in literature that academic performance, moral uprightness, and discipline, there's a correlation or there's an association. You can't treat the other without the other. They move together. So we told them to, grab the ethos of Catholicism, that is the morality aspect of it, work very hard. Pope John, we work so hard. It is not surprising that we've produced a lot of high-flying people. As you see, this is a pure boys' school, but we have everything. So they should keep pushing themselves up. And we've been here, various year groups that came here. It's a clear testament of what Pope John can make them become. So I believe the boys are fired up, and they'll be doing better, or they'll improve upon themselves in the coming WASI and stuff like that. Don't forget that we are the current regional champions for the National Math and Science Quiz.
Now, bouncing back from last year's setback, one-time champion St. Thomas Aquinas has kick-started their quest for a second trophy with a resounding victory in the regional qualifiers. The Old Toms, who've been faced with heartbreaking defeats in the past 3 years, are now eyeing the regional crown with newfound confidence. My colleague Adobe Asari has more in this report.
Before the contest began, St. Thomas Aquinas, fondly known as Old Toms, were brimming with optimism, ready to ace the regional qualifiers.
So she expects nothing but the best from us, and we pray that God grant us victory at the end of the contest.
After an electrifying clash with Tema, Ningo and Olam Senior High, the Old Toms emerged victorious.
We are feeling very excited because this wasn't a competition for us. You see, when you see all the schools that competed against St. Thomas Aquinas Senior High School, they are never a match to us. In St. Thomas Aquinas Senior High School, we don't say but, we don't say if, we don't say maybe. What we do is absolutely the best.
It's baby! It's baby!
So you have won the trophy just once. Do you see it happening a second time?
Yes, it is happening this year. It is happening this year. Because you can see from yourself that by yourself that the way our boys performed, this year we are taking it. Who is Presec? Presec won it last year, right? We are taking it this year. And it isn't far from
Who is Achimota? Who is who? We are coming. We are coming.
West Africa Senior High and St. John's Grammar, overjoyed after securing their spots in the national championship, shared their excitement and ambitions.
Overwhelmed. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
In fact, we are going to win. We are going to scatter. We are going to, in fact, we'll scatter everything. The regional championship. We saw that some scouts were around, but we don't fear anything. You see, we are West Africa. We come from the West, so.
God, that is impossible. So
listen, the heat we are bringing, unless they go and they fed the Antarctica is going to point on us. We can never come down.
The best. They always come from the West.
The thing is, there are only 2 schools in West Africa. It is West Africa Senior High School and the rest. You understand? And God is a Wazarian. They thought I was joking. God is a Wazarian. So we are going with victory. And we are coming with victory. So expect nothing but the best.
Don't come and bring the fire service. Make sure you bring the fire service here because you are going to burn this place here. Make sure you bring the fire service here because you are going to burn this place. Period.
Right now we are feeling so excited. We can't even express how we are feeling. We are so happy because we knew we would win when we were coming. So as we were coming here, we were just telling the other schools that they shouldn't panic. We just came to have fun. But right now we are here. We've qualified for the regional, so we are only wanting to meet other big schools like Presec to show them that we are also St. John's.
We've prepared right from the very beginning. Our coordinators are always with us, teaching us everything we are supposed to learn for this contest. So we've prepared from the very beginning, and God too has been with us through this, so the victory is ours.
We are coming like a roaring lion. We are coming like a roaring lion. Don't know, we are ready. We are coming, so they should be ready. So they should move. Let them move. We they come. Dodge. We want to meet schools, so we don't want to meet cubicles. We are meeting schools. We don't want to meet cubicles. Don't know, we are coming.
Meanwhile, second-year students of Holy Trinity Senior High, disheartened by their final results, have vowed to rise to the top in the next season.
Though that the gap was very huge between WAS and Hotcast, however, we are the Form 2 students standing for the NSMQ next year, and we promise you guys that we will take the regional qualified. Do you we are going to take the regional qualified next year, and it's a must, so everybody should watch out next year.
All regional qualifiers and outstanding schools are set to face off for regional championship on Thursday and Friday. At the BR Stories report for Joe News.
Coming up next is Business Updates with Benjamin Nakako.
Welcome aboard. Now, the IMF will in the coming days set a date to meet on Ghana's second program review and approve some $360 million for the country. This was after the official creditor committee formally informed the IMF about the debt restructuring deal reached with Ghana. There's more in this report.
Joy Business is learning that the official creditor committee, in an email, formally communicated to the IMF about this development and the impact on the whole debt restructuring and sustainability going forward. Now, based on this development, Ghana has now met all the conditions needed for the IMF board to meet on the country and approve the second tranche funding to government. The fund was initially looking at financing assurance from these bilateral creditors, but it looks like the IMF now has more than what they were even looking forward to aid this meeting on the country. This development will also trigger other donor funding for Ghana in the coming days.
And that's it for our business update this morning. Handing over back to Sweetie Abochi.
And it's a wrap for the AM News. But stick with us. There's news review coming up next.